As many of you might know, I work at Best Buy. I am a computer consultant expert selling Apple Microsoft guru. And along with that list of titles, I am also what's called an essential worker. Though there isn't a really strict definition as to what an essential worker is, the general concept is usually referred to as a key worker, someone that provides an essential service that otherwise not having it would cause mayhem or crash the economy, which is one of the reasons why Best Buy and Target didn't close during this shutdown thing. Right now, there's a lot of really cringy things online about how, heroes work here signs in people's front yards, people saying, I'm an essential worker, I deserve special benefits, and people claiming as much time in the spotlight as they can as an essential worker, kind of to solidify themselves in the next 20 years in school, that we look back at the essential workers of some kind of great humanist experiment, and why Bernie Sanders will be president or something. I don't know, some socialist thing, I'm sure. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to be an essential worker, but what I am saying is essential workers are trying to use this point of time to escalate their status of the fight for 15 or higher wages or whatever. That's really what people are fighting for. The whole thing of being an essential worker right now is that you're in a business that really can't afford to shut down. One, because most likely bankruptcies, they made a deal with the government so that they can't shut down. Two, that they actually are essential to the government and just the public in general. So Best Buy is one of the last main big box electronic retailers. If we were to shut down, you essentially would have the crappy area of Walmart, Target, maybe Sam's Club and Costco, and a lot of those people there aren't actually trained specifically on products to sell you computers or electronics in specific departments. They just kind of say, here's camera and cardboard and plastic.
This one's more expensive than that. Get the more expensive one.
Best Buy's motto is, be human. A weird motto, but the other motto is also, let's find what's possible. So the idea of Best Buy is, yes, to sell money, but the other part of it is to help people figure out what is possible for them. Not what they absolutely want, what they absolutely need, but what is possible. So in the realistic solutions, if someone needs a camera, we don't sell them some crappy camcorder, then we don't sell them a super nice DSLR from Canon or something. You find something good in between that's going to fill their needs and their wants and all this kind of stuff without being too heavy one or the other side. That is what makes Best Buy an essential business. You're going to hear people complaining that it's not because it's just electronics, what does it matter? But think about all the kids right now that are going into this fall season of school at home, all the people that are going to be working from home and already are working from home, and people in general that just have a lot of time that they're going to be at home now. All those people need help and guidance to figure out what electronics, computers, cameras, whatever it may be, even home security, that they need. And just some quick Reddit and Google searches aren't always the best solution to that problem. Ergo, this is why Best Buy is still around and why there are essential workers still working at Best Buy, because they provide an essential service. Not so much the product, but it is the service that is essential, thereby fulfilling the definition of an essential worker. Someone who provides an essential service. Now you have places like McDonald's and Burger King where I guess you could claim them as essential workers. I'd say the meatpacking plant that, packs burgers and something and then send them to a store and you buy it and you cook them yourself. That's more of an essential job, an essential service than McDonald's.
They'll understand there are some people that can't afford other things, so they go to McDonald's because it's cheaper, blah, 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 whatever.
The whole thing I'm getting at here is that being an essential worker does not necessarily mean you yourself are essential. It's that business is essential. You are still expendable. Being a Best Buy employee, where you are trained specifically for a multitude of tasks, but usually for a very specific one, mine would be computers in general, but trained specifically in Microsoft and in Apple products. I provide an essential service for people trying to figure out what they need, want, or what's going to work for them. People at McDonald's don't. Heck, half the people at Menards when I work there don't. You just tell them, get me this, they go grab it and bring it to you. That's not an essential service, that's just something else that makes the bill at Menards go up. So you have a lot of places that are called essential businesses, and you have a bunch of these people that are being classified as essential workers, even though in and of themselves, they're not the essential. They're still expendable. Businesses that are essential, but have employees that are highly trained and skilled, they're essential. because the amount of time it would take in this economy, in this pandemic, would be just enormous to get someone else that way. So therefore they are essential. And usually those are the people that are very upfront in dealing with customers on a daily basis. And if you totally believe everything that's going on with the coronavirus, then yeah, they're putting their lives on the line to help sell, some product and peddle some other services a company may offer to a customer. But those very many people, and I'm not going to say those few, because there are a lot of people that are classified as essential workers, but really just stay in a back room and flip a burger or do something like this.
Again, this is a generalization. I'm not really singling out those people, but that the people that generally have this description will fit into it.
If you're in an enclosed place and you're fighting to get higher wages because you could get sick, I'm not gonna vote for you, man. I'm not gonna hey, yeah, you too. It's not gonna go anywhere. Places like Target, Walmart, Costco, Best Buy, even Furniture Row. These places, you are very intimately interacting with customers that you don't know if they're sick or not. Even if you're wearing a mask, which is debatable if it actually does anything, there's a whole bunch of other safety precautions that are just kind of ignored because it's impossible to have a business, sell things to customers, and be 100% safe at the same time. Those are the people that, yeah, they deserve hazard pay. They deserve higher wages because they're putting way more effort into the work and also risking a lot more to come to what may seem like a menial job, but now it's much more important than it was before. So those people probably require higher wages, or at least deserve them. If you don't do that, if you don't interact with customers other than other dumb coworkers and employees, and you sit in a back room, and with all intents and purposes, you guys are not getting sick, no one's got COVID, then I don't see a reason really to up your wages. Yeah, sure, hazard pay is a good thing to give because, well, it's a pandemic and you're still working. But to raise your wages just in general, I don't see it happening. Best Buy just announced that on August 2nd, they're going to make $15 an hour at their minimum wage, nationwide, which is fantastic for me because it's a lot more money than what they were paying me before. But what it also means is it's time for pruning. You see, if you work at a job like, let's say, again, McDonald's, there's a lot of those places where they're paying minimum wage, probably closer to, say, $9 an hour. At $9 an hour, you expect a certain level of competence and a certain level of ignorance. And you're paying $9 an hour, so you're not really concerned with either or, because it's all within the threshold, as long as they can flip a patty or steam some buns or fry some french fries. And as they climb up and their responsibilities grow and their competence grows and the level of ignorance they have kind of fluctuates, then you pay them more money. Now, if you start paying everyone broadly from $9 to $15 an hour, which is, a little over $30,000 a year if you're working 40 hours a week for 52 weeks, then the amount of responsibilities in general should increase and the level of competence should increase, and then the level of ignorance should drop. So go on Indeed.com, look up jobs that pay thousands and thousands, $80,000 a year. They're not looking for people that are entry level. They're looking for people that have experience, degrees, all this kind of stuff to back up that they have the confidence and none of the ignorance required for that position. So at Best Buy, they're raising it to 15. My personal assumption is that by this August, or at least mid-fall, there's going to be a lot of people leaving Best Buy, and there's going to be a lot more people coming to Best Buy. Think about all the fantastic people that just love vinyl records. They love cassettes, VHS. They are just aficionados. They know so much about it, and they're helpful for everyone online to do it, just to help find that stuff.
Just perfect.
But where do they work? A 9-to-5 job doing whatever, data entry. It's not what they're passionate about. And the reason they don't work at a vinyl shop is because vinyl shops like Zoomies at the mall, I love skateboarding, the reason I don't work there is they pay you $8 or $9 an hour as a manager. Vinyl shops are the same thing. They are not paying people a whole lot of money. So they're not going to expect people with high knowledge and all this kind of stuff. They're going to expect people with this amount of ignorance and this much of competence. About 50-50, enough to get by. Now, if they raise the wage to, say, $15 an hour, now the level of competence goes up and the amount of ignorance you expect decreases because you're looking for a more skilled and a higher paid individual. Then those people that do the 9 to 5 that really love dealing with vinyl then go to the vinyl shop and start working there, and they become like an essential part of that business because they really know what they're talking about and they care about it. So those essential workers right now that are like striking and doing all this kind of stuff because they demand higher wages, not higher hazard pay, because it's a different subject. Higher wages that will continue after this, watch out, because as soon as they raise those wages, there is a high likelihood that you were going to be the person that's going to be pruned first. You know, if you have like 5 idiots in the back room, everyone's getting paid the same, and you bump up everyone's pay like $10 an hour, there's several people that are going to work harder. Other people are going to be about the same, but they give you good quality work for it. There's some people that will be exactly the way they were at $9 an hour to like $15 or $19 an hour. And if you're paying someone $19 an hour, you expect work that reflects the amount of investment you're giving that employee. Not $9, but like $15 or $19 an hour. So those jack-offs in the back room are going to be the first to go. So if you're just someone that works at Taco Bell, fast food, or just some of these businesses that are kind of like classified as an essential business, but the workers themselves aren't necessarily classified as essential workers, you guys got to be careful. Because no matter if you agree with the politicians, the government, or whatever, economics is almost a proven thing. If they raise the wages, they're going to get rid of people that don't align with the amount of money they're being given. So, with that being said, there's only a matter of time before like Best Buy or some of these other companies just start, I don't know, offing a bunch of people that don't give them enough work to justify paying them $15 an hour. Think about all those big companies that like lay off 10,000 people, but other people that stay get like bigger paychecks. Usually that reflects, other than it being a scam, usually what it's reflecting to is that the employees that got cut are just not making the cut. You know, they're just not doing the job well enough. So they take their pay and distribute against, distribute 10,000 people's salary of $50,000 a year, and bam, everyone gets a couple more bucks on a paycheck, or a couple $1,000s more a year, and that's how that stuff goes. So I agree, $15 an hour is a living wage. Should it be the minimum wage? No. Should that be the wage everyone pays? Absolutely not. But during this time in a pandemic, everyone has hazard pay. It's usually $2 to $2.50 more an hour because you're working in somewhat hazardous conditions. That makes sense. But for the people that aren't, doing a good job and you're demanding these higher wages because you're essential workers, just think about this. As soon as the pandemic's over at a year or so, and you're no longer classified as an essential service or an essential employee or whatever, that hazard pay goes away. And if you fought to make it so that hazard pay stays as the average pay, then you better make sure you're working. Otherwise, they're going to get rid of you because they're not going to be able to afford to have you.